Ahoy folks, and welcome back to Broadside Game with me, Zug. So, we've had a week or so of the Hive Scum, we've had a lot of builds, but it turns out most people have been playing the Arbities, and a lot of new people have been as well. And gameplay-wise, there seems to be some misunderstandings with the Arbities, or just some people having a bit of a struggle with it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through some Arbities builds that are going to give you the edge. So this first one, it's defensive, but as all Arbities builds are, is incredibly aggressive as well. So let's jump in and take a look at what we're using. We are using the Shock Maul and Suppression Shield. Defense is our dump. We're going for damage, power output, crowd control, and penetration. Lol. Perk-wise, we're going with Flak and Unyielding. This is going to give us some good damage against basically everything. Flak is the most prevalent armor type in the game, and Unyielding is going to help us with bosses and some of the Ogryns that are labelled Unyielding, which isn't very many anymore, but, you know, it is useful. I mean, if you don't want Unyielding, though, you can go for Carapace, which is, you know, which is going to help you against Crushers and Maulers. So, you know, that's up to you. Blessings-wise, we're going for the slightly safer route. We're going with High Voltage, which is 25% damage versus electrocuted enemies, which the Maul does just anyway. After the first hit, they are counted as being electrocuted. So after the first hit, everything is taking 25% more damage. As you can see there, it's no slouch when it comes to doing damage. We're also taking Confident Strikes, which is going to give us toughness chained back on chained hits. So the second hit in any chain is going to start farming you back toughness at 8%, which is a pretty decent rate. Next up, we're going for the ranged weapon, which is the Exterminator Shotgun Mark III. This is the higher damage variant. Mobility is our dump, because we do not give a singular crap about mobility on this channel. Everything else, damage, ammo, stability, and stopping power are all at 80. Perk-wise, we're going with Flak and Maniac. This is going to give you the most bang for your buck. Mostly what you're going to be doing with your ranged weapon is sniping out specials, maniacs, and anything in flak armor, really. Most things in Carapace and higher, you will be going at them with your melee weapon. One note on this gun, though, it does have a secondary, which you use with your extra action button. Mine is on my mouse button 4. Adds a special round, and it kind of electrocutes things. It's not super great. It's useful occasionally, but you know. Also, when you're using this shotgun, what you can do, if you're not entirely confident with it, is aim for center mass. Or if you're a bit more confident, aim for the head. As generally, this thing is quite accurate, and headshots tend to insta-kill most things. Not everything, but it does a hell of a lot of damage. So, for the blessings, we are using Full Bore, and we are using Fire Frenzy. So, Full Bore is giving you 20% strength for 5 seconds when every pellet in a shot hits the same enemy. Fire Frenzy, gain 10% close damage for 3.5 seconds after killing an enemy at close range, stacking 5 times. You are not going to be using this as a long-range sniping weapon because it is a shotgun. It can, in a pinch, if you really have to put rounds down range, but mostly you want to be using this in close to mid-range. It is a bit of a beast. Right, for the curios. You can go for full toughness like I have, with extra toughness, stamina regen, and damage resistance gunners, or you can go for a mix. You can change the stamina regen if you really want to combat ability regen, but stamina does actually work quite well on the Arbities because we are doing a lot of blocking and dodging. If you are more confident with your Arbities, I would highly suggest picking up a stamina curio. Where the hell? Oh, there it is. With toughness, stamina regeneration, and damage resistance gunners on it, because extra stamina does help quite a lot, especially when you are blocking and doing push block attacks. But for safety, and if you are not entirely confident with the class, I would stick with just pure toughness. Right, let's have a look at the talents. There's a few ways you can do this up here. I will talk about it more in other builds. This is a build for if you're just getting started. I mean, it will work all the way through Havoc. This is a very, very strong build and it will keep you on your feet. No escape, plus 10% damage and 10% movement speed on elite or specialist kill lasting 4 seconds. This is going to give you a good amount of charge. Going into target neutralize, replenish 10% toughness instantly and 10% toughness over 4 seconds on elite or special kill. Man and Cyber Mastiff, replenish 5% toughness per second while within 8 meters of your Cyber Mastiff. Then we're getting up close, replenish 5% toughness on close kill. Walk it off, spending 1 stamina, replenishes 10% toughness over 3 seconds. Force of Will, replenish 10% toughness on staggering melee attack, which is most of your attacks. Shield plates on block, replenish 15% toughness over 3 seconds. On perfect block, instantly replenish 10% toughness, 1 second cooldown. This is going to keep you very, very much alive as long as you remember to block. Here you can pretty much pick whatever the hell you want. I go with remote destination because it means you don't have to arse around trying to grab grenades from people. If you want to, you can go for the Voltic Shock Mine or the Arbities Grenade. Now down here, we're going with plus 25%, plus 25 toughness, sorry, not percent. Concussive, melee weak spot hits make the enemy count as staggered for 4 seconds. Suppression Protocol, hitting 3 or more enemies with an attack grants you 20% toughness damage reduction. Ammo Belt for plus 25% ammo capacity into Imposing Force, gain 25% damage resistance for 5 seconds on elite or specialist kill. As you can see, we are picking up a lot of these on elite or specialist kill abilities. Suppressing Force, staggering enemy makes them deal 20% less damage. And Ruthless Efficiency, you and your allies' incoherency gain 12.5% reload speed. You can change this if you want to. You can go for Breaking Descent, you and your allies' incoherency deal an additional 10% damage versus staggered, or part of the squad, your Cyber Mastiff counts towards unit coherency. In addition, you and your allies' incoherency gain an additional 7.5% toughness damage reduction. They are all good. So pick what you prefer. Plasteel plates, 25 toughness into Unleashed Brutality. You and your Cyber Mastiff prioritize, your Cyber Mastiff prioritizes elites and specialist enemies and deals 25% damage to them. Plus 25% cleave into Castigator stance. Now this thing is godly. You enter Castigator stance for 10 seconds, during which you have 15% increased movement speed, 80% reduced damage taken, and 100% reduced movement speed penalties from actions, but you cannot sprint. On activation, you replenish all toughness. The base cooldown is 50 seconds. And then Writ of Execution. During Castigator stance, each elite or specialist kill grants 5% damage lasting 10 seconds. Max stacks are 50, so you can 10, sorry, so you get up to 50 percent damage. God damn, I can't speak today, Jesus. I would re-record this, but I don't want to. We're going out into the middle for Justified Measures for plus 2% damage on successful attack, 5 max stacks lasting 5 seconds. Hold the line, staggering an enemy grants 1 stack of plus 3% damage resistance on the next melee hit taken, stacking 5 times and lasting 8 seconds. Staggering non-human sized enemies, i.e. Ogryns or bosses, grants 5 stacks. Target the weak. Enemies staggered by your melee attacks take 15% more damage for 5 seconds. This is stacking up quite a lot, so you are actually reducing down the damage things are doing. We've got Arbities Revelatum, 15% damage for 5 seconds after a successful dodge. And then we're going into Zealous Dedication, 2% critical strike chance on kill, 8 stacks, lasts 10 seconds. We don't care too much about crit, but we're going straight for execution order. Periodically mark elites, specials, and bosses for Mercy Sanction. Killing a marked target replenishes 15% toughness. Your Cyber Mastiff gains 150% Cyber Mastiff damage for 8 seconds. After attacking a marked enemy, you gain 10% damage and 10% attack speed for 8 seconds after killing a marked enemy. Then we're taking No Lenience. You gain 10% rending for 8 seconds after a marked kill. Malachator, 50% cooldown regeneration for 8 seconds after marked kill, and Keeping Protocol. Killing a marked enemy grants 1% damage versus monstrosities and 1% damage resistance versus monstrosities. 30 max stacks, lasts until the end of the mission. I'm not sure if this falls off when you die. I can't remember, but it's all quite powerful. Now, the build is very, very simple. You are a frontline powerhouse. You are there to knock things about. You are there to smash things. You are there to make a nuisance of yourself. Don't forget, you are using a shield and therefore should be blocking a lot and also using it to push things. You want to knock things off their feet. You want to keep things staggered and unhappy. And not to forget, the shield also does have another action button, as you can see by the green bar on the right there. You can blind things. Your shield has a flashbang in it. So you can just bang the front, and it makes everything very unhappy. And with the shield, if you are used to playing with the Ogryn slab shield, it's very much like that. Big, wide, sweeping attacks with the shield, and an overhead with the mace. It's just really good for keeping things staggered, to be honest. Don't forget to push things. The push block is very, very important of this weapon set. You can just go for light attacks if you want to, but I end up doing quite a lot of heavy attacks with this thing, just because of the moveset. So you've got the overhead, and you've got the shield bash. The overhead basically gives you a guaranteed weak spot hit on most human-sized enemies. And then, of course, the shotgun. Not super great against Carapace, but that's what a melee weapon's for. So there you go. A very, very simple to use Arbities build. I do have a lot more that are more complicated and require a bit more aggression and less defense. But for the first one, there you go. It's a very sturdy build. And it's a good way of getting into playing the Arbities and kind of getting a feel for how it works. There you go, folks. I hope you have enjoyed. If you have, please do like and subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. It really does help out the channel. And I shall see you all for the next one. Until then, take it easy. I'll see you later.